like my friend Anita Krishna in Canada, she worked for a global news or a big news network. She started to ask just regular questions. She's like, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? We're a news organization. Isn't that what we do as a news organization? And she got fired for that, of course.
Crazy.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I still have my Canada flag up, but that's okay. Canada Flag Day was only just yesterday. And today I'm going to talk about the big Canada First rally that Pierre Poilievre had. Now, I always talk about lately in my videos that I know a lot of normal people. And so this girl that I work with the other day was like, oh, I hope that Marc Carney gets in. I really want that guy to get in. I go, you want that guy to get in? Why do you want that guy to get in? And she just follows the news, right? So I was a little bit worried, because the news has been pushing Carney so hard, and they don't feature Pierre obviously in this positive light, like he's like Canadian Trump. And so I was really happy to hear that he was having this rally. And also Pierre is not going to talk to CTV. I heard that Mike LeCouture, who I used to work with on Global National, although he doesn't know me also, because a lot of those correspondents, I was just a voice in their earpiece. But I did hear Mike LeCouture say on Power Play that, well, Pierre has an open invitation to come back on CTV anytime he wants, which is a bit cheeky to say since CTV totally spliced and diced up a quote of his, and they were busted for it, and they had to answer for it. And I still haven't heard Miss Vashi Capello say anything about it. So I'm glad he's banning them. I think it's great. I mean, Trump has shown that you don't really need the mainstream media to win an election. You can do it in other ways. And I'm happy for that. And I worked for the mainstream media for 25 years of my life saying this. And I'm telling you, I was one of them. But let's have a look at, I started watching Global National's coverage. Global National is a show I used to direct quite often. And that was part of my weekend shift also, is that I would direct GN and direct the news hour, which is one of the most exhausting things you could get one human to do. But Global doesn't really care about you functioning as a human. You're just, squeeze out the sausage in the sausage factory. Well, that sounded dirty. Anyway, let me show you what we're doing. Let's watch Global National together.
On this Saturday night, the Poilievre pivot.
We need a prime minister who will put Canada first.
New slogan and new opponents. But can he hold on to his lead in the polls?
It's another shtick by a guy whose message is failing to resonate.
Another shtick by a guy whose message is failing to resonate, says Mark Miller. Hey, I heard you did something stupid with a bunch of Tim Hortons donuts there. But anyway, I'll get to that later. Let's go on.
The next chapter in a heated face-off.
The biggest game of the century.
How brewing political tensions are fueling one of hockey's biggest rivalries.
Global National. Reporting tonight, Carolyn Jarvis.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Hundreds of people piled into a convention hall in...
Hundreds? Did she say hundreds of people? Or doesn't that Ottawa Convention Center hold thousands of people? It's not as big as BC Place, but I think it holds about 6,000 people on one of the levels, and I think it was the level he was speaking at. And also, I heard there were so many people that they ran out of room, and that people had to watch it on TV monitors from other floors. So what you talking about?
In Ottawa today to hear opposition leader Pierre Poilievre lay out his party's new focus. Putting Canada first is his main promise, a pivot in messaging in response to U.S. President Donald Trump's repeated threats against Canada. The change also comes as the Liberals are surging in the polls, threatening the Conservatives once more.
The Liberals are surging in the polls? Surging? You are all about mind manipulation. Oh my God, you people are still doing this at Global National. You lied all about the COVID and you're lying about this. You are trying to shape public opinion with your propaganda. You're still a bunch of hacks.
Monumental lead. Our chief political correspondent, David Akin, has tonight's...
Oh, David Akin. Mr. David Akin, who called everyone that went to the Ottawa, the Freedom Convoy, a bunch of J6ers. Oh, man. These were my people that I worked with. I would be vomiting every day if I had to put this on the air if I still worked there.
Story.
I Are there any patriots in the room who are ready to put Canada first?
With the Liberals creeping closer to them in the polls, and with the U.S. president musing daily about swallowing Canada, Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives are wrapping themselves in the flag.
Sometimes it does take a threat to remind us what we have, what we could lose, and what we could become.
Poilievre delivered a 75-minute speech at what the party called a Canada First rally. There were no new policy announcements, but a heavy focus.
There's been 2 shots already in this video. One of the first crowd shots, they picked a shot where people looked bored. You can pick any random shot as you scroll through the viz, right? And they picked another shot of just people looking a little bored. That's just my opinion.
On one new line.
And I'm sure they weren't bored. I think they were fired up. Come on.
We need a prime minister who will put Canada first. My Canada First plan, part 1 of our Canada First plan, to put Canada first.
Poilievre would meet the Trump.
Oh, there you go. Another montage. That's fine to put Canada first, but they cut it up in a way where it almost looks like a slogan. And then they can go and criticize him after and say, oh, he's all about slogans. You see how they do this? This is crafted and edited on purpose like this. And you guys all know this because you're all smart enough.
Threat with a tariff for tariff response, with more defense spending, and by diversifying Canada's economy. But many Liberals and many provincial premiers have said the same thing. Every Canadian politician these days is concerned about Trump. But Conservative politicians are increasingly concerned about Marc Carney. And
No,
the Conservatives are addressing that with new attacks.
We're going to take other countries' jobs.
That TV ad debuted this weekend, but the Liberals had an immediate response with a pair of their own attack ads.
Everything is broken.
Everything.
Why, as a news organization, are you showing such clear bias in your news reporting? Have you still not gotten the message that you're not supposed to do that, or are you still under the budget of the Liberal government? You guys are failing, and you're going to continue to fail with this rhetoric, with you pumping up one side, denouncing another. That's not what news is, Global National. Do I have to call out the producers? Do I need to mention your names of the people that worked on the weekend that you're putting together a show like this and you're doing it on purpose?
Thing is broken.
A Liberal cabinet minister, also a Marc Carney supporter, was dispatched to reinforce that message.
I'm highly
Okay, let's see what he says. The ginger nut.
skeptical of what this guy has said. He said Canada's broken, Canada's broken, Canada's broken. You can't at the same time say that Canada's the best country in the world.
Miller and the Liberals were also dismissive of Poilievre's new bid to become Captain Canada.
I think it's another shtick by a guy whose message is failing to resonate.
So both Liberals and Conservatives are using Trump to escalate their own electoral contest, but both are largely united in how best to respond to the U.S. president. Carolyn.
David Akin in Ottawa, thank you.
David Akin in Ottawa, and that's it. We move on. That's the thank you. That's it. There's no debrief. There's no talking. That's it. That's it. And they're clipping Mark Miller to look like some sort of hero that saves the day. The current immigration minister, and one of the biggest critics that Canadians have is about immigration. Mind you, he wasn't the one that let everybody in initially. That was Sean Fraser. But then Sean Fraser quit to go spend time with his family. As a lot of people have quit recently too. That blonde woman just quit. I can't remember her name. She was really annoying. I think her name is Jen something. Arif Virani quit. Mary Ng won't be seeking re-election. Anita Anand won't. A whole raft of them have jumped the Liberal ship because you get off a sinking ship. Well, that was Global National. Still, Global National. They have like 5 producers producing that half-hour show. They go to air at 2:30. That's when they do their first news cast over in some of the eastern provinces. That show is an absolute shit show. It is an embarrassment. The 2:30 show, the producers are all scrambling. They don't know what they want. They're changing things on you last minute as you're about to go to things. You know, as I'm about to roll a tape, they would like float the tape in the rundown. No, it's not technically tape. You know what I mean? And then you don't have the story and they F up your whole automation system. They used to do things like that. And they cut and splice, and they do what are called GN fixes, and they fix all the shows, and they basically cut and paste it together so that when it goes out into a different market, it's a little bit better. And by the time it finally reaches 5:30, the Vancouver broadcast, it is so cut and spliced and put together that you really might as well have an AI person reading it. I always thought that back in the day, even before I had the words, even before I knew what AI was, right? Completely robotic, devoid of any personality. So Donna seemed like a robot and Robin Gill seemed like a robot. This Carolyn Jarvis actually has more of a personality, but still they don't go from the script. They just read the script. They never go off script, right? And that's why the show is so flat and doesn't have a personality. Although it's, I liked Donna. I thought she was cool. I thought she had a good news sense. She kept to herself, but she knew what she wanted. I liked her as a person. Obviously, the COVID vaccine and vaccine is Jesus type of thing. I didn't agree with any of them. And you know the story, how I just didn't like the way we went. Nobody likes mainstream media coverage these days. They're all delusional. They're all like the Democrats in the States are all having hissy fits and losing their minds. I find the liberals here very immature, which takes me to Marc Miller. Let's see what he got up to at the Ottawa First rally. This is from Canada's Post. Let's see what's happening here.
Look, I brought you guys. I brought Pierre some donuts today, just like he was bringing to the Freedom Convoy when he was watching them illegally occupy the hill. But I didn't know if you guys will get locked out, so.
He just said I brought some donuts, just as Pierre brought donuts when he was at the, what did he say? When he was at the, let me see this again.
Just like he was bringing to the Freedom Convoy when he was watching them illegally occupy the hill.
Just as he did to the Freedom Convoy as he was watching them illegally occupy the hill. You are a disgusting piece of you-know-what. How dare you say something like that? I'm actually aghast.
But I didn't know if you guys will get locked out, so I got some. You probably can't accept donuts, so I'll give you. It's highly unpatriotic.
Just bailout. Just media bailout.
Look, I just showed up to make sure that the flags were the right side up. Last time I seen Pierre.
Look at this reporter. He's like, whatever your shtick is, Marc Miller, it's not working. Look at his face. He's trying to figure out, okay, what is this guy on about? He seems like a nutter, like a nut job that just shows up somewhere.
They're cheering this hard. The flags were all upside down. He was cheering for people that were pissing on Canada, and that's what Pierre's doing. You can't
cheering for people that are pissing on Canada, and that's what Pierre is doing. Everybody who has some sense, Marc Miller, knows that is a flat out lie. What a jerk.
You can't say that Canada is broken, and at the same time,
it ain't fixed.
Say that Canada is the best country in the world.
Is our immigration system not broken?
The two
Who was that? Ezra? Fantastic.
The border not broken?
Oh, we needed more of that. Let's re-cue that.
Country in the world.
Is our immigration system not broken?
The two just don't.
Is the border not broken?
I would have loved to have seen the answer.
Is it your representation to President Trump that the border is not broken?
Well, I think what we have to understand with President Trump is, does he want a border or doesn't he want a border? If he wants,
is it broken or not? You've said Canada's not broken.
If he wants a 51st state, he obviously doesn't want a border. We need to secure in our own national interest the border. That's what I've been doing as the immigration minister in the 2 years that I've been doing it. I think we've shown an incredible decline of people moving north-south. We have a challenge of people coming into Canada, asylum seekers coming into Canada, and that's the U.S. That's the U.S.'s job, and that's what I communicated to Tom Homan when I spoke to him directly. Having a border that is well managed, our southern border, their northern border, is in both our national interests, and that's what I'll continue to do. That's what the Minister of Public Safety will.
Wow, that was really just very low IQ stuff to say. And that is really just appealing to the lowest common denominator. And who is the audience that he is speaking to that still buys that bull? Incredible. Like, I'm so disappointed with Global National, like a national newscast from Global News, that I have to now go to the pleb to see what actually did happen. You understand how bad this is? And I was a global employee for 24 years. Okay, what does the pleb say? The Pierre Poilievre rally was massive. Even more impressive is that he pulled this size of a crowd during a snowstorm. Don't listen to all the fake Carney hype. Pierre Poilievre is going to be the next elected Prime Minister of Canada. There's a big crowd shot. And oh, here's video. Let's look at this.
So this is the last one.
Okay, that's like a rock star. It's a rock star sized crowd. So that was the crowd waiting outside, watching it in the hallway. That was the spillover crowd. I mean, come on, come on. Now let's end this video with some words from Pierre Poilievre. I mean, I say everything, I'm guarded with everything I think. You don't really know who you can trust, I try to live my life with a healthy degree of skepticism. I know not one person can embody everything you need, but we need some big changes in Canada. And after I'm not listening to short clips of Pierre Poilievre on a 3-minute news segment. I've now listened to him speak, just as we all were listening to Trump, on segments that are like hours long. And I think it's pretty hard to fake multiple long podcasts and talking off the top of your head. You do sort of get to have a good sense of somebody and how they think and how they can answer a question off the top of their head. That's why you never saw Kamala Harris do a damn thing, because she's a cardboard cutout.
Making Canada was hard. Those are the people who built and defended our country through sacrifice and struggle, but they did not go that far and travel that long so that we could take the easy way out and give up. Like them, we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We are in this together. We are at this place in this time because we have a job to do, to pass on intact what we inherited from those who came before us to those who come after us. Parce que le Canada vaut la peine qu'on se batte pour lui, pour notre peuple, pour notre terre, pour notre chez nous, pour le Canada, because our country is worth fighting for our people, for our land, for our home, for Canada first, always and forever. Let's bring it home. Thank
you. That was nice. Again, something you didn't see on Global National. You just saw stupid little jackhammered clips cut together in a silly way. I hope that we make the right decisions when it comes to all the Trump stuff. I know that Trump is, he's a business guy. Everything is an acquisition to him, and everything is a little bit of a like 3D chess game, right? So let's play it right. Let's play it smart. Let's not get too big for our britches. We know our population is we're limited. Okay, so play it right, play it smart. Bring it home. That's all I got to say. Call bloody election. Thank you for watching this video today. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you enjoy my work. I enjoy making these videos for you. We'll catch you soon.